In the latest Star Wars Hunters update, we got a brand new limited mode called Trophy Chase, which I'm hoping that Zynga will eventually turn into a permanent mode because it was really fun, and that means minus the matchup modes, we have 5 game modes in Star Wars Hunters. So in today's video, I thought it would be fun to rank them all. But before I do get into that though, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with the notification bell turned on to never miss a piece of Star Wars Hunters news. So the 5 game modes in Star Wars Hunters, for those who aren't sure, are Control, Escort, Hutt Ball, Squad Brawl and Trophy Chase. They're all pretty self-explanatory from the names, so I won't explain them all to you, but from the names and the gameplay, hopefully you will get the idea of what they are anyway. But without wasting any more time, let's just jump right into it. So starting off with my least favourite to my favourite, in at number 5 we have Hutt Ball. Hutt Ball was a fantastic addition to Star Wars Hunters about a year and a half ago, and I'm really excited to see it receive new maps in the future, but as it stands it's probably my least played mode at the moment, and I think a big part of that is because it hasn't been touched since its release really, so I do think that plays a pretty big part in why I haven't been playing it. So I am hoping that it gets plenty of new maps in future content updates, because it will be a ton of fun to play at that point, but right now it is just a little bit stale, which leads me perfectly onto number 4, which is Escort. Escort is another mode that hasn't been touched in about 18 months now, which is a real shame because it is a great mode to play, but with only 2 maps to play on, I don't find myself ever really having the urge to go and play it that often. That said, it has now been bunched in with Control on an objective playlist for a while now, so a game here and there is always enjoyable to play, but as it stands it's not something I'd want to do hugely often. With that being said though, Escort has a concept where it starts off in one planet and ends in another, and that is really cool to see. I don't really see that in any games at the moment, I don't think, so I'm really excited to see where they head to next with this mode. Now these next 3 were definitely harder to decide on, as honestly Control, Trophy Chase and Squad Brawl are all my favourite modes really, but I think at number 3 right now it is absolutely Control. It's obviously a great mode to have in any video game and is very common, and it does take place on a variety of maps as do the other 2, so I think that variety of maps really helps it compared to Escort and Hutt Ball. But with the matches only focusing on the same spot all the time, which obviously makes sense, I think that lack of change does ultimately put it in at number 3 for me. At number 2 though, we then have Trophy Chase, which as my brother put it is a little bit like a mobile version of Control, which I think is definitely a good point to make, and on that line of thought as well, it's a bit of a blend with Hutt Ball as well. What I do really like about this mode is that you're constantly exploring all areas of the map in the hunt for this trophy droid to be able to gain points for your team, and like Control you have to attack and defend at different points depending on how things are going, so I think that exploration part of it where you're going around the map constantly is what I enjoy more than Control, because we get to see all of the little Easter eggs and environmental things that the developers have put into it. That said, it is a real shame that it's only a limited time thing right now and only appears very rarely, but I'm hoping it will become a permanent mode in the next content update. So that leaves the number 1 spot with Squad Brawl. Now Squad Brawl is obviously just team deathmatch, but I've always been a big TDM player, and with this game I always really enjoy the carnage that it can be, whether that's just a really close game or where you absolutely wipe the floor with a team. It is just really fun to play, and I think it's the easiest mode to just jump on, have a couple of games and then jump back off again. So far Star Wars Hunters has ultimately taken modes that we're all very familiar with and given them a Star Wars twist, which I'm really enjoying so far, and I cannot wait to see where they go next with the game in terms of its game modes. But that is my official ranking of the modes within Star Wars Hunters. So Hutt Ball is at number 5, followed by Escort, Control, Trophy Chase, and finally at the top is Squad Brawl. Let me know your rankings in the comments if you've played Hunters, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel to never miss a piece of Hunters news. That is it from me today though. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the force be with you always.